Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a story that is shaking the foundations of Russia's economy and exposing cracks that can no longer be hidden. What we are seeing right now is not just a temporary disruption or a passing headline. It is total chaos spreading across the country as thousands of trucks sit frozen on highways, supply chains break down, and the transportation industry edges toward collapse. This situation is rapidly becoming one of the clearest signs yet that Russia's internal pressures are reaching a dangerous tipping point. Across vast stretches of Russia, more than 7,500 cargo trucks are reportedly stuck, unable to move goods forward. These are not isolated traffic jams caused by weather or accidents. This is a systemic failure driven by economic strain, financial collapse, and policy decisions that are now haunting the entire logistics sector. When trucks stop moving in a country as large as Russia, the consequences are immediate and severe, because everything from food to fuel depends on these transport arteries. Drivers are stranded for days, sometimes weeks, sleeping in their cabs and rationing supplies. Many of them have not been paid, while others are unsure if their companies even still exist. Small and mid-sized transport firms are declaring bankruptcy at an alarming rate, unable to cover fuel costs, loan payments, or basic maintenance. As each company collapses, more trucks are abandoned, adding to the growing paralysis on the roads. The root of this chaos lies deep within Russia's economic structure. Sanctions, restricted access to international markets, and the ongoing costs of war have combined into a perfect storm. Fuel prices have surged, spare parts are harder to obtain, and insurance costs have skyrocketed. For transport companies that already operate on thin margins, these pressures are simply too much to bear. One missed payment can mean losing a vehicle, a contract, or an entire business. Banks that once financed trucking fleets are now pulling back. Loans are being recalled, credit lines are frozen, and interest rates have become unbearable. As financing dries up, companies are forced to shut down overnight. Drivers arrive for work only to find locked offices and disconnected phones. With no clear instructions and no support, they are left stuck on highways with thousands of others in the same situation. This breakdown in transportation is rippling outward into every corner of the Russian economy. Supermarkets are experiencing shortages of basic goods, especially in remote regions that rely heavily on long-distance trucking. Construction projects are being delayed because materials cannot arrive on time. Factories are slowing production or stopping entirely due to missing components. Each delay feeds into the next, amplifying the damage. Moscow, the heart of Russia's economic and political power, is not immune. In fact, the capital is beginning to feel the pressure more intensely with each passing day. Distribution hubs around the city are overwhelmed, unable to process incoming goods because trucks are not arriving or cannot leave. Traffic congestion has reached new extremes as stalled vehicles clog key routes. What was once a symbol of control and order is now showing signs of serious strain. Public frustration is growing fast. Drivers are speaking out on social media, posting videos of endless lines of trucks and sharing stories of unpaid wages and broken promises. Some are staging informal protests, blocking roads or refusing to move until they receive answers. These actions, while small on their own, reflect a deeper anger that is spreading among ordinary workers who feel abandoned by the system. The government's response has been slow and fragmented. Officials have issued statements blaming global conditions, foreign pressure, or temporary disruptions. But on the ground, drivers and business owners see little concrete help. Emergency subsidies are limited, bureaucracy is heavy, and many companies do not qualify for assistance. This gap between official messaging and reality is fueling distrust. At the same time, inflation continues to eat away at household incomes. For truck drivers, rising food prices and living costs make long delays unbearable. Some are forced to abandon their vehicles and find other work, even if it means leaving expensive equipment behind. Each abandoned truck becomes another symbol of collapse, another obstacle in an already broken system. The situation also exposes how dependent Russia's economy is on road transport. Railways and alternative logistics systems cannot fully replace the flexibility and reach of trucking. When trucks stop, there's no quick backup plan. This lack of resilience is now painfully obvious, and rebuilding it will take years, not months. Internationally, analysts are watching closely. The transportation crisis is seen as a warning sign of broader economic instability. Logistics is often one of the first sectors to feel deep trouble, because it sits at the center of production, trade, and consumption. When it fails, it signals that pressure has reached a critical level. For Moscow, the political implications are just as serious as the economic ones. Large-scale disruptions challenge the image of strength and control that authorities work hard to project. As shortages appear and prices rise, public patience wears thin. History shows that sustained economic stress can quickly turn into social unrest, especially when people feel their basic needs are threatened. Some experts warn that this crisis could accelerate a wider collapse of small and medium enterprises across Russia. Transport companies are closely linked to retailers, manufacturers, and exporters. When one falls, others soon follow. This domino effect could push unemployment higher and deepen regional inequalities, hitting rural areas especially hard. There is also the human cost that statistics cannot fully capture. Behind every stuck truck is a driver with a family, bills, and fears about the future. Many have invested years of their lives into this profession, only to see it crumble almost overnight. Their stories reveal the emotional toll of economic collapse, from anxiety and exhaustion to anger and despair. Attempts to stabilize the situation face major obstacles. Import restrictions limit access to vehicle parts, forcing companies to cannibalize old trucks just to keep a few running. Fuel subsidies are inconsistent and often delayed. Promises of reform sound good on paper, but implementation is slow and uneven across regions. Meanwhile, the backlog continues to grow. Even if conditions improve tomorrow, clearing thousands of stuck trucks will take time. Goods that should have arrived weeks ago may no longer be needed, while perishable items are already lost. This inefficiency adds another layer of economic damage that cannot be easily reversed. The crisis also highlights a deeper structural issue: the lack of trust between workers, businesses, and the state. When drivers do not believe support will come, they make decisions that protect themselves first, even if it worsens the overall situation. This breakdown of trust makes coordinated recovery far more difficult. Moscow's image as a resilient global capital is being tested like never before. Empty shelves, delayed deliveries, and visible transport failures contradict official narratives of stability. For residents, these everyday disruptions make abstract economic problems suddenly very real and impossible to ignore. As winter conditions threaten to worsen road safety and vehicle reliability, fears are growing that the situation could spiral further out of control. Cold temperatures increase maintenance needs, fuel consumption, and risks for stranded drivers. Without urgent intervention, what is already chaos could turn into a humanitarian concern. Looking ahead, the key question is whether meaningful action will be taken in time. Addressing this crisis requires more than temporary fixes. It demands financial relief, realistic policy adjustments, and open communication with those on the front lines of the economy. Without these steps, the transportation sector may continue to bleed until recovery becomes nearly impossible. In many ways, the stuck trucks are a powerful metaphor for Russia's current state. An economy that once moved with confidence is now stalled, weighed down by internal and external pressures. The road ahead is uncertain, and the longer movement remains frozen, the harder it will be to restart the engine. This unfolding situation is not just about logistics or bankruptcies. It is about the daily lives of millions of people and the future direction of an entire nation. Whether this moment becomes a turning point or a downward slide depends on choices made right now, under immense pressure. As we continue to monitor developments, one thing is clear: the chaos on Russia's roads is more than a temporary disruption. It is a warning signal flashing red, telling a story of economic strain, human struggle, and a system pushed to its limits, and the world is watching closely to see what happens next.